Okay, I have every reason to believe we're going live. Although, sometimes these things happen.
Yeah.
It says we are. So
Good.
Ruth
Yes.
in here with Enlightened World, and today is launch day, and we have brought this beautiful anthology into the world. This is the Gateway to an Enlightened World, Collective Life Lessons to Support Planetary Transformation. It is available on Amazon, and we have had friends in Canada, in the UK, and in the Netherlands, as well as the US purchasing this. So please join them. if you are interested in spiritual transformation, if you are interested in spirit guides and angels and the universe energy, this would be a good book for you. Or if you're even looking for a Christmas gift for someone, this is an easy one to pick up. So I am so happy to have Sommer Joy Raymer with me here today. She is one of the co-authors of the book. So Sommer, come on and say hello.
Hi. Happy launch day. This is so exciting.
Happy launch day. So Sommer, I'm excited for you because I know you have not written in a book before.
No.
So this is your first, and you've got a beautiful chapter in here.
Thank you.
Already a bestseller in the United States in the categories of angels and spirit guides, spiritual gifts, and angels. So
wow.
Soak that up. That your first time out of the barn and a bestseller.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't imagine it in a more magical framework of not only that, yes, the celebration that I feel about it, but the celebration that is for so many of us that are in the book, and for you and for Enlightened World Network. And just, it is such a ripple of wins for so many today.
Yeah. And
I love that.
I'm getting goosebumps while we're talking. So I know that there's some cheering going on in the ethereal realm about the status of this. So that's awesome. So Sommer, this chapter is beautiful. And I will tell you, as I read it, I'm, wiping grandma tears off my face. It's called Grandma's Infinite Healing Blessings. Do you want to share a little bit about what your chapter is about?
Yeah, well, it's so fascinating how multifaceted it is, the journey of writing it, and then of the experience of it today. I actually have not reread it since I sent it to you when I submitted the chapter, and I read it for the first time today with my mother. Aww. Out loud to her, and it was absolutely like such a beautiful way to celebrate this writing in this book. So I lost my grandma June Herget. I have a picture of her behind me on my altar here. And around the time that we completed the Enlightened Women Enlightened Youth Summit, it was about to that 8-year mark of when my grandma passed away. And, 8 years had passed. Over the years, there have been times that have been emotional, some moments that haven't, but for some reason, it was really, really like a grief, sadness that I found myself in this of 8 years that had passed of that day. And I remember you asking, well, what is a lesson that you've recently learned? And I was really unpacking this deep grief of, and what is this? What am I exploring? What am I experiencing? And I really reflected on this. It was the week kind of after the day of my grandma's passing. And it was like this, a completion, like an 8-year understanding of, not that the grief is complete. I don't know if I really ever believe that grief ends, or it's like this, I feel like grief is like an ongoing infinite ocean of wisdom that we can access, and when things happen, when loss happens again, it kind of hits us in another way, or a deeper way, that there's something really profound about grief. And so what I realized is I really hadn't processed a significant piece to the loss of my grandma 8 years ago, that I also lost a very trapped version of myself, of like the cocoon also began to die in and around around myself when my grandma passed. And so as I reflected back, I hadn't actually consciously had that awareness that also what died that day, it wasn't just my grandma, it was also a part of me that needed to die. And then I look back on that now, and after this week of kind of like, of that week of sadness, I realized, wow, my grandmother and her spirit has been supporting me into what I would really say is living as like the butterfly, that I have gone through an 8-year transformation from a very tight cocoon, safe container to, and so that's what my chapter is about, is like that recognition of that.
Well, and you can't see, I don't think, what you look like from here, but I am seeing the pink and the purple and the yellow, and you look like a butterfly right now. And you do. It's absolutely stunning.
I don't know if I've ever showed you this, Ruth, but about 6 months after my grandma passed, I got this tattoo. I have a butterfly. Did you know this? Did you know that
but I didn't know what it was about.
So I have this butterfly here. So what it's about, which is also kind of in the chapter, I talk about how I left a job and totally went into this wild, free, connected spirit life and moved to the jungle of the Big Island of Hawaii. And I talk a little bit about it in the chapter of what was going on there. And up to that point, I hadn't known, I had a story that I couldn't meditate, that I just can't sit still, and that's just not possible. And when I got settled in this eco community I was living in the jungle of the Big Island, I had a spirit. My grandmother was like, I was seeing butterflies was like a symbol to me that my grandma was near me. And I went for this long walk in the jungle, and there was this spot that like spirit said, sit here and you will find that you can meditate. Mm-hmm. And so I sat in that spot. And there was a point where enough of my distracted thoughts, and I got to the place of like, oh, okay, like, oh, this is meditating. And right when that happened, these ginormous monarch butterflies showed up and like swirled around me. And I knew it was my grandma, like celebrating. Yes, Sommer, like yes, you can meditate. Yes, like this is just the beginning, but like, you know, and so to me, when I moved on in my life 6 months later, I knew I wanted to have a tattoo, a symbolism of my grandma. And the tattoo artist, kind of as a mistake, but not, I said, can you get my grandma's initials in this tattoo? So I don't know, it's hard to see, but right there is a J and H for June Herget. And what it also ended up looking like is joy. Not in like, it wasn't meant to be. I was like, oh my gosh, that also looks like joy, which is my middle name.
Right.
My work that I bring to the world, the Garden of Joy. I mean, it's just like symbolic in so many ways. So anyways, I thought I'd share that as well.
I love that.
Yeah. So it's really, really special to be here.
So can you just take a minute, like 3, you can have 3, and share with us about Garden of Joy?
Yeah. Garden of Joy is a space that every single person, anybody, could access. And I would say it's a portal into a world where those of you listening, your sovereignty, your freedom, the visions of your life, a place where judgment doesn't hold you down, a place that is made for you, etched in the universe. And I've been discovering this place and guiding people to this place for a little over a year, but this work has been, in the process of finding me and remembering that the Garden of Joy, I think, has always existed in me. I think I was born onto this planet with the understanding of what the Garden of Joy is, and with life that came and the challenges that unfolded in my life, like so many of us, this remembering that I'm now discovering. And yes, this completion of what this chapter really symbolizes is like I now have shed what held me down, so I can hold this container for others in the world to understand that empowerment, to understand that joy is your birthright right now in this moment, no matter what. That angels are everything, everywhere. That it's just it's a container that's there for anything that is going on in life, that we have that space that we can breathe into, that we can remember and soften and discern into our lives, no matter what is going on.
That's beautiful. And if somebody wants to know more about Garden of Joy, how do they find you?
Yeah, well, that's a really interesting thing, since I've had some interesting challenges around what that place is and how to get to it. But luckily, in this beautiful book that you can get on Kindle today, that there is a link for all the authors, how to connect to them. And there is a Facebook group, a private group, that is for anyone that is interested about stepping into that sovereignty, into your Garden of Joy. That I have content that I am sharing free there, and it's called Stepping into the Garden of Joy. So there's a couple questions that I ask that just kind of help me understand how I can best serve you in accessing that Garden of Joy. And I am offering one-on-one, and something that has come to me as I preparing for this experience with you, Ruth, that I really want to offer as part of this celebration of this beautiful launch of this book that's such a gift of transformation, which is literally what like my chapter is about, is that transformation. Is I really want to offer Garden of Joy at a very, very discounted rate from this day of the launch to, when is the day of the next launch of this next book?
December 5th.
December 5th. So from this moment till December 5th, I want to offer a really, really discounted rate. Normally my one-on-one sessions run about an hour and a half long and are $200, but I want to offer an hour with me that we can dive into, explore that Garden of Joy space at $30 for, yeah.
Wow.
And one of the things that I really have realized about the Garden of Joy, and a transformation that my work is going through of how I'm going about it, is that something that I am recognizing that I want to give more, that I think, Ruth, you embody this so well through Enlightened World Network, is there's so much generosity that comes through. Like, I just really want to honor that. The summits, the Sunday events that you're now doing. There's so much giving. I have received so much with what I have personally going on in my life. I have received so much through the card deck. The journal has been with me as I've been dealing with also loss, which is another chapter that I end up writing about in the second book, about my losing my brother who recently died about a month ago. The Enlightened World Network community team beings and you, Ruth, have absolutely supported me through a very interesting time. And I know that by me being able to give through the garden of joy, it helps me, it heals me, it offers medicine. So it just feels like it's time that this generosity is just what it's time that I feel to start from generosity. So yes, an hour session with me, $30 until December 5th. And I really just want to be of service to as many people as possible. And so, yes, I am like opening up the floodgates of my schedule and want to do that. And it feels really, really right. My grandma's like, yes. And yeah, just really so much gratitude I have. And so anyone that is interested in that, join the group, tell me you want to do that with me, and let me know that you got this from here.
Nice. What a beautiful gift, Sommer. Aw. And so if any of you have a hard time receiving, because a lot of women have a hard time receiving, please allow.
Please allow.
Because this is a gift for Sommer as well. She's receiving while she's giving. So yes. I support you in that giving. I'm so excited.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm thrilled to be a support to people right now, especially through loss and grief. Like managing grief in general, I would just say, is something that is so alive in my own life, and there's so much wisdom and potency through grief and loss, and yeah, that's sacredly possible right now in this moment. So
beautiful, yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. Sommer, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to let you go. Thank you
Great.
so much for your chapter in here. Thank you so much for your day today. I love you dearly, and I'm looking so forward to working with you in the future. And I know why your guide said to sit right there, because you do. You're just like, you are just blossoming. You're radiant today.
Thank you, Ruth. I love you, and I love what you do. And I know that you and I are just getting started with all the work, the global transformation work too, that we do through Sign and Enlightened World. 2020 is, watch out 2020. Things are going to get really, really, really miraculous.
Yeah.
So
goosebumps. I'm feeling goosebumps.
Woo! Good.
All right.
All right.
Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.